How are you, sir? You're looking well. Thanks for coming. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right. Welcome to the Will Group. Well, welcome to North Lawndale. My name is Steve Davis, and I am the founder of the Will Group. We're a company that has been in business for 35 years. It's named after my father, who was a humble man, my hero, who lived a very simple life, but was the most profound and wise man that I ever met. We have been in the electrical distribution, electrical business for many years. And with the help of what I call a true public-private partnership, we were able to work with the city of Chicago, former Mayor Rahm Emanuel, and our current mayor, Lori Lightfoot, and her staff to take land that had not been on the tax rolls for nearly 35 years. See, where I come, we believe that relationships plus transactions equal transformation. And when you have relationships with people like the governor's office that are interested in doing great things for a community, great things can happen. We often ask, what can come good out of the west side of Chicago? I can tell you a lot of great things are happening. I can tell you that nearly $750,000 light fixtures have been built on the west side of Chicago. Multi-million dollars worth of capacitor banks have been built on the west side of Chicago, and we're grateful. I think sometimes we discount and we think that people that live in poor communities, that it's a result of their beliefs or maybe their morality. And I can tell you nothing could be further from the truth, because I found this community to embrace us, to love us, and support us. And what I want to do is be very intentional about creating as many jobs as we possibly can to give people hope, to pay them above minimum wage with health care and retirement benefits. Now, this would not be possible without the help of Governor Pritzker's office. Through the DCEO, we were struggling. We were really struggling. And I know I have to be quick, Sloan, but give me a couple of minutes here. You know, we had the land. We've had some environmental remediation issues. We were looking at some other sites that would have been much less, but we are committed to the west side. And because of the DCO grant, we were able to roll the dice and take a chance. We were able to work with customers and partners like the City of Chicago, like Commonwealth Edison, like GenFair, and bring jobs here. And because of that, we now stand in this facility that is phase one of a $20 million, what I believe, transformational project right here on the west side. So we're grateful. I can't tell you enough, Governor, how thankful we are for you and the Lieutenant Governor for your support. Alderman Scott, there are so many people that are customers, and I can't call everybody because I would forget, so charge that to my mind and not my heart, because I am so grateful for all the work that's been done to make this happen here. My dad always taught me, you have a moral obligation to repay. A moral obligation to repay. Those of us that are able to do a little bit, you're gonna really be happy when you can fulfill that moral obligation to repay. Some of the things I've been able to do, the governor's put me on the tollway board, and I chair the D&I committee. I chair the committee at DuPage Airport. We have a program called Tuskegee Next, and you will see some bright, beautiful children, young people who came together and now they're flying airplanes. You will get on a United or American or Delta flight, and you will see one of our kids flying airplanes. And this is all because of the public-private partnerships and us all coming together to do good things. So, Governor, with that, I want to thank you and thank you and thank you. We are humbled that you would be here. We know that we have struggled. We've all struggled during the pandemic with COVID. And please, everyone, get your shots. Please, everyone, get your shot. Be careful, be safe. But thank you, Governor, for picking this as one of the first places you would come and help us celebrate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Stephen, and I want to tell you how great it is to be here with the Will Group family. in celebrating this next step for your organization. Yours is a company that consciously invests in our communities, and the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois is better for it. I also want to recognize the other leaders here who are joining us to celebrate this moment. Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, DCEO Acting Director Sylvia Garcia, Representative Omar Williams, Alderman Michael Scott, Deputy Mayor Samir Mayakar, Mark Densler of the Illinois Manufacturers Association, all of whom have come out to join us, to join all of you today in celebrating K-Town. I want to welcome former Mayor Rahm Emanuel, who stands with us, who had the vision on this effort when few others did, and worked tirelessly with Stephen Davis and with his company to bring to life what you see and to remove obstacles for its successes. They imagined a manufacturing facility where ex-offenders could get good jobs working on projects that improve the community, and in this case, upgrading streetlights throughout the city. The state of Illinois is very proud to build on that partnership, and I know that Stephen and his family will continue their commitment to inclusive growth, addressing climate change and standing as a beacon on the West Side. Moments like these are important to celebrate, where the Will Group is establishing yet another footprint, creating 100 local jobs, employing folks re-entering the workforce from prison, and spurring additional economic development here in North Lawndale. And this makes me proud to have established the Office of Minority Economic Empowerment Capital Grant Program in my first year in office. In order to create an Illinois where economic opportunity abounds for all of our residents, we have to take real action to address the obstacles holding us back. In our state and across our nation, Black and brown-owned businesses have too often been cut out of key resources for building and growing a business. If you can't get your business started or grow it, you can't compete. And thus, cycles of equity gaps are allowed to continue. In Illinois, we're beginning to put an end to those long-standing harms. Our OME grant program exists to equip more minority-owned businesses with resources to grow or to establish their enterprises. Last year, I'm proud to say that we delivered over $11 million to 31 organizations, like the Will Group, across the state, opening the door for a ripple effect of new investments and jobs. And today, I'm proud to announce that my administration will be opening another round of OME capital grant applications. These are new investments in under-resourced communities made possible by the truly transformational Rebuild Illinois Capital Program. Crucially, our commitment to equity expands beyond the scope of just this program, with efforts established across my administration. That includes the billions of dollars of economic relief that we're directing to programs such as our Back to Business grants, workforce recovery efforts, youth employment programs, violence prevention, affordable housing, impacted industry grants, capital investments, and so many other efforts, leveraging our portion of the federal ARPA funds to build a strong and inclusive recovery from this pandemic-induced economic crisis. And there's yet more work to be done. In short, the impact that we are so proudly celebrating today is not an end in and of itself, but another milestone on the journey toward the Illinois that we're trying to build, the Illinois our residents truly deserve. So thank you. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to my esteemed colleague and my partner in governance, Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Governor Pritzker, for that kind introduction and for leadership that is centered on lifting up Illinoisans throughout our state. It is always an honor to stand with you. Thank you, Steve, for your visionary leadership as chairman and founder of the Will Group. Every day, the Will Group honors your father, and it's an example of how we can use family values to build a legacy of hard work and excellence that helps others and uplifts entire communities. And in fact, thank you to the entire team at the Will Group and the site crews for adjusting your schedules in order to host us today in this magnificent facility. It's great to be here today with so many advocates, community leaders, and elected officials. As the governor has already acknowledged everyone, in the interest of time, I'll just say thank you all for your vision and your passion for West Side communities. We are so grateful for your partnership as we build a stronger Illinois. Everyone, just take a moment to look around you. This is what success looks like. This is what opportunity looks like. This is what faith looks like. This facility is more than beams and walls, more than brick and mortar. It is a facility of dreams, of what is possible. The K-Town Center proves that great things can be accomplished when there is access to resources and when ingenuity and excellence are allowed to meet equity and opportunity. Sadly, this does not always happen in our communities. In this country, BIPOC-owned businesses have often faced race-based barriers and inequities and have been cut out of the process for far too long when it comes to raising capital and having access to resources. In fact, according to data from the Federal Reserve, 80% of white business owners received at least some of the funding they've requested from banks, while only 66% of those businesses owned by people of color have received such funding. And for the loans that were granted, white-owned companies not only received more funds, but they also paid lower interest rates on those loans. This is unacceptable, and it only perpetuates the existing disparities and serves as a barrier to real economic development and growth, especially in communities like North Lawndale. So our administration, as the governor spoke about, is laser focused on closing inequity gaps and eliminating barriers to economic empowerment in our most under-resourced communities. And that's why it's exciting to be here today in K-Town. This facility is named for the historic K-Town district in North Lawndale, where it will live and continue to thrive. Whether Kedzie or Cosner, as you all know, K-Town was a destination for blacks during the Great Migration from the South, when our ancestors headed north in search of safety, more opportunities, and a better life for their families. But then during the 60s, our thriving businesses were destroyed after the assassination of Dr. King and never fully recovered. But residents who love this community, and all of us really, who love this city and our state, never gave up. And now, we're seeing the change and the growth, and this K-Town Center is a beautiful symbol of that resilience. This manufacturing venture exemplifies resources at work and creates a great opportunity for those on the West Side, in West Side communities. So yes, it's about jobs, yes, it's about manufacturing, but it is also about bringing dignity back to workers and changing the trajectory of families and communities for generations to come. This is only the beginning, and I look forward to working with Governor Pritzker, lawmakers, community advocates, business leaders, and others to make Illinois a model for the nation when it comes to economic inclusion. And now it is my honor to introduce the Acting Director of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, Sylvia Garcia.
Thank you for that introduction, Lieutenant Governor Stratton. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sylvia Garcia, the Acting Director of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, or DCEO. I'm excited to be here with all of you in North Lawndale as we celebrate not only this win for the community, but for the entire state. A special congratulations to Stephen, Jessica, and the entire team at the Will Group on this important milestone and achievement. Looking around, you can see how this has risen out of the community and really will have a great impact going forward. Governor Pritzker and the state of Illinois were proud to make an investment in this project through our Office of Minority Economic Empowerment Grants, which provided $500,000 in funding to jumpstart work on the impressive new facility. As you heard from my fellow speakers, the K-Town Business Center delivers a major investment for the community and will unlock jobs and economic opportunity to benefit this area for years to come. Not only that, but the new industrial complex being built right here is powering innovation and innovative products which will help create LED fixtures in the city of Chicago and a wide range of other products that will increase the reliability of outdoor lighting while increasing safety, reducing energy costs, and improving quality of life for communities across the city and the state. Manufacturing is a critical part of our economy, and when you take a look at what the Will Group has built in North Lawndale, you can see the real impact it's having on the community. This K-Town project exemplifies Illinois' commitment to investing in economic development and doing it in an equitable and inclusive way, in a way that supports growth for small business and residents alike. At DCO, we hear time and time again from small-owned, Black and Brown-owned businesses. Not only is it difficult to start a business, but how hard it is to access capital to grow and expand as you move along. And we know that the inequities that the communities of color face have only been exacerbated during the COVID-19 pandemic. Under the Governor and Lieutenant Governor's leadership, we are working to change that. To address the disparities communities of color face in accessing capital and having programs like this one that make huge investments in communities. This K-Town investment is one of, along with 30 other projects across the state, is critical to reducing that capital access gap. Each project funded supports jobs, economic activity, and tax revenue for the community. This type of economic boost couldn't be more important than it is right now. And because we know that some have been hit significantly harder than others, we're working to provide targeted support to ensure a level playing field for all businesses, regardless of size, type, or zip code. As the governor mentioned, we're using that equity lens as we deploy economic relief programs as part of the fiscal 2022 budget, which includes $450 million that will be overseen by the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, and as well we'll be announcing another round of funds later this year for this program itself. So we look forward to supporting the success of the K-Town investments and the Will Group as we go forward, and helping the other 30 OMI grantees as they work to achieve the next level. With that, I'd like to turn it over to one of K-Town and North Lawndale's biggest advocates, Alderman Michael Scott. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am so happy to host all of you here in North Lawndale today. This story started, I think, in earnest about 3 years ago. And we were in city council, and Steve, being the advocate that he is, came up to me and said, hey, we can supply all of the lights for the city of Chicago, which I truly believe that he could. But what happened there was more of a friendship. And he said, hey, come show me some things in your ward. Let me figure out how I can be helpful. And so we drove around this community, ended up on this piece of land, and he said, hey, look, I want to bring and build my company right here in North Lawndale, right here in this community. I want to put hundreds of people in your community to work. And how could you not smile and love something like that, right? Somebody who does not have to, does not owe us anything, sees the need and wants to do that. The story kind of fast forwards a little bit later, and the former mayor, who is also a good friend of mine, I took Josh and Jessica to him, and I said, hey, look, they don't want anything. They just want to buy some land from us, and they want to build a business here. And him being the champion for the West Side that he's always been, what you don't know is Ron was raised over here on the West Side. I'll tell you that story another day. Another day, right? We won't get into that today. So, I took that to Josh and Jessica to him, and he said, hey, I love this idea. How can we make that happen? And we started, and before he left office, we broke ground on here. And now we fast forward to this administration and the commitment from the Lightfoot administration to make sure that this is something that is going to work not only for K-Town, but for the city of Chicago. And what I didn't know is we have partners on the state who feel the same way. And so I want to also thank the Pritzker administration for stepping up in a major way to make sure that, when we invest in communities like this, it doesn't go away. It is important for us to invest in Black businesses that are going to do just the right thing for Black communities in our city. And so thank you to everybody around on this table. I'm going to bring to you somebody who is a partner in good government with me, somebody who from the day that he got in office, kind of hit the ground running. This is his district. He is a great friend of mine and will be a great friend of the Will Group. Representative Williams.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Alderman Scott. That was a great introduction. Thank you, Stephen, the Willis Group. Thank you all for being here. I wish you all much success. Hope you continue to grow. Hope you build your building across the street. And I'm glad you're here. I really do. Because what this does, it'll bring other investors and other community organizations to say, hey, Lawndale is a great area. They got great employees. They want to keep growing and keep going. I like the slogan that says, a will is a way. One of the grateful things I'm always about is when you give people of color an opportunity, especially when you give people, young men and young ladies who had problems in the past, opportunities to live in the future, you know. Because so many times people, they label you with an F on your background, but they don't necessarily see the person. They don't necessarily see the case of why you got the F. You know, sometimes people get F's for just being in the wrong place, being with the wrong people. So I want to thank you for giving, I don't like to call them ex-offenders. I like to say people who had previous records in their life a second chance, a second opportunity. And I also want to encourage you all who are employed here to buy in the Lawndale area. It's some beautiful gray stones here. Please, you know, how great would it be to be like they live in the suburbs where you got a 5 and 10 minute commute from your house to your employee? So there's a will, there's a way. Make that possible your way, and thank you all.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Samir Mayakar. I'm proud to be Deputy Mayor of Economic and Neighborhood Development for the City of Chicago. And I bring greetings from Mayor Lightfoot. And I have to say, it's an exciting day here on the West Side, because just a few hours ago, we were with Alderman Scott, and we announced an initiative where we were groundbreaking 250 homes that will be built on vacant lots here in the North Lawndale community. And Alderman Scott noted, we're going to get it to 1,000. So to have done that this morning, and then to be standing here today, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a former manufacturing guy, but in this facility, and to see the jobs that are going to be created here, you think about the jobs, this facility, and the homes in North Lawndale. These are the keys to economic recovery. Now let me tell you about economic recovery here in the state of Illinois and in the city of Chicago. Let me give you some statistics. First, we have the lowest unemployment rate here in the Chicagoland region out of the top 4 cities in the country. Second, we have the highest amount of consumer spending growth of the top 20 cities in the country since the pandemic started. Third, we have the highest adult vaccination rate of any major city, and we've been able to do that while vaccinating a higher percentage of our Black and brown residents than any other major city. And then finally, thanks to our partners in the community, the business sector, and the nonprofit sector, the City of Chicago published the first comprehensive economic recovery plan of any American city as to how we get out of COVID. And at the center of that plan was focusing on manufacturing and making sure that the environment for Black and brown businesses improves. And we are a model here in the city, and you've heard that from the other speakers. So I can't think of a more appropriate place to be as we think about a model for recovery than right here today. And the City of Chicago stands ready and is proud to partner with the Will Group so that we can continue this growth. So thank you very much, and I now will turn it back over to the Governor.
So before I take questions from the media, I want to take a moment to address the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and the urgency of vaccination here in Illinois. Illinois' access to and utilization of vaccines has allowed us to remove our capacity restrictions in Phase 5 of the Restore Illinois plan. That's incredible progress that has delivered many of our residents great hope. But it's imperative that we remember that this doesn't mean that the pandemic is over. Around the world and here in Illinois, this virus is very much present, infecting people, hospitalizing some, and tragically killing others every day. Israel, which has led the world in vaccinations, has reinstated its indoor mask mandate and other mitigations in light of fully vaccinated adults getting infected with the Delta variant. Additionally, they've seen a rise in unvaccinated children under 16 getting infected with COVID-19. So let me reiterate, each additional person who gets vaccinated, and here in Illinois, we're still averaging thousands of first doses a day, makes our states, our towns, our neighborhoods, our families that much safer. Get vaccinated. We've surpassed President Biden's goal of 70% of the eligible population receiving at least a first dose. But when you look at our overall population, only about 59% of the population is partially vaccinated. That leaves over 5 million of our neighbors extremely vulnerable with real consequences. Just this month, an outbreak at a Central Illinois summer camp has led to 85 positive cases among attendees alone, and at least one unvaccinated adult has now been hospitalized, exemplifying the danger of unvaccinated people not wearing masks indoors. IDPH is working with the CDC to assist in the expanding outbreak and is in the process of identifying the presence of any specific variants in this outbreak. Already the Delta variant that sent Israel back into mitigation is a growing presence in Illinois. We expect it to dominate our cases statewide by the fall. The lessons here at home and across the world are a harbinger of what could happen here, particularly in low vaccinated areas, if we don't see a higher uptake of the vaccine across Illinois. This is very real. I implore all residents, if you have friends and family on the fence, share with them the life-saving benefits of these free vaccines and encourage them to remain masked until they are fully vaccinated. Share the facts. You can go to idph.illinois.gov and review the vaccination rate of any county in the state to be up to date on the safety of your community and to shift your behavior accordingly. It's the best tool that we have to protect one another. And now I'd be happy to take questions from members of the media. Mary Ann. It is just out of an abundance of caution. I wanted to wear a mask today. We have a number of people here, and I thought it was appropriate to do so. Yeah, I think I'm trying to, we're all making judgment calls. I think when we leave our home every day, I would encourage everybody, whether you're vaccinated or not, to bring your mask with you. You know what the guidelines are across the state of Illinois, and use your mask accordingly. I would say, from my own perspective, if you're going into a heavily crowded area, you don't know if somebody is not vaccinated. And so you should just bring your mask with you and keep safe. It's a first. Yeah, hi. Well, I certainly will talk to IDPH. I know that they're in charge of making the designations of data, and so we'll make sure to push them on the question. I don't know where that is in process, but we'll make sure to get back to you about it.
Governor, can I ask you as well?
Yeah.
And wondering about the tornado in Naperville and Woodridge.
Yes.
When are you going to go take a look at it? And Lieutenant, both of you were not able to go last week. So when will you?
So as soon as I am able to, but I also want to be clear that, in the early days of the cleanup and taking care of those whose houses, their property were damaged, not to mention the people who were injured, sometimes inappropriate to create a distraction by having a high-level official show up just for a visual tour. Having said that, I was given a visual tour of it, although I wasn't there, through pictures, through video, and so on. And as you know, because I know you called us on the day of the tornado, I've been in regular contact with the mayors, the state representatives, the state senators who cover that area, and even talked to one of the business owners in the area. We have provided a resource center for every person that lives in the affected areas. That provides some of them who are unfortunately without a home right now with some resources, including food, including direct access to all of our agencies so they can get shelter and anything else that they need. So we're looking at, the challenge here is we've provided every resource that you would need for whether you had a disaster declaration or not. What we generally look for in a disaster declaration is whether or not we can get reimbursement by the federal government. And unfortunately, over the last number of years, federal government's raised its guidance for how much money you need to have in damages in an area before you can get federal help. That number is almost $20 million. That's the guideline from the federal government. And so we're trying to tally up all of the damage that was done in the area so that we can determine whether we can go to FEMA and get that community the money that it may need.
Governor, if I could, different topic.
Sure.
What do you think about the Bears in Arlington Heights? And do you think the state could commit funding to such a possibility for safety?
That's not something we're looking at right now. I think obviously there are private business decisions that are being made. I've enjoyed many years of seeing the Bears at Soldier Field. And so, the determination about what will happen to that property is a matter of private concern by the sellers. But for me anyway, I have, spent my, adult life going to Soldier Field to watch the Bears and have enjoyed that. And I hope that I'll be able to continue to do that. But again, these are private decisions by private companies. And I think that the mayor will have much more direct input in that than I will. Yeah. What do you want to ask about that specifically? There's 660 bills that have been delivered to my desk or will be over the next month or so. And so we're looking at each and every one of them. Even the Illinois Manufacturers Association has recommended vetoing or AVing different bills. I mention it because the leader is here, and there are a number of others. So we're looking at every bill. The changes that will be made, I'll have to consider as I receive those bills. Thank you. The what? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're looking at all the options here, but remember that one of the big considerations here is making sure that we have enough childcare available. Many, many, many women have been put out of work as a result of the pandemic and don't have childcare available to them as a result of the need to mitigate COVID-19 within those childcare facilities. So we've been working to expand that in order to help them get back to work. Listen, people who are not working right now want to go back to work. So we just need to make it easier for them to do so. Thank you.